Yeah, finally, the part 2 of Ironheart is finally here. Episode 4, 5, and 6 are here, and this is the breakdown and everything you missed in episode 4. So, spoilers ahead, watch ahead. Name of the episode is Bad Magic, or otherwise Dark Magic, which we are more familiar with in the MCU. We start by seeing Parker and John going for a robbery as John pushes Parker to do the job. We learn that they have done this before, but Parker is pretty nervous right now. Maybe it's because the mansion belongs to his father, who cast him out when he was 12. We found about his father in episode 1 breakdown, the poster on the building, and the news in episode 3. John for Parker was the voice of reason. Now that John is gone, the only and loudest voice is coming from the hood. We see Riri, who says,
cross-reference this heat signature with every known energy source. Wakandan, Kree, Stark, Pym.
Now, Pym and Stark are two big companies, so accessing and cross-referencing with their tech is not hard. But maybe Riri's time in Wakanda gave her enough time to get to know vibranium and to know that whatever the hell is that thing, it's not vibranium. But Kree is an intergalactic empire that we saw in the Captain Marvel and the Marvels. How the hell did she get to know about them? Okay, one scenario is that her time in Wakanda gave her enough information, because we have seen Okoye on Avengers conference room, so maybe she was informed by her. Or maybe after Black Widow released all of the SHIELD's data online in Captain America Winter Soldier, she gained access to it. Then Natalie says,
energy doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It defies laws in physics.
which reminds me of,
That thing does not obey the laws of physics at all.
and the way she says pop up is funny because we see her that in the last episode do exactly that. She just pops out of nowhere. Then for a second, the piece of hood disappears and Riri thinks that it's gone and Parker knows everything. Then it reappears. This is actually because the piece of hood is still connected to the hood itself. So when Parker uses his powers, it does it too. After Natalie suggests that just call Shuri, Riri refuses and says,
Oh, what have I been up to since causing an interspecies war on both land and sea?
but I think the real reason is that she idealizes her and doesn't want her to think that she failed and messed everything up. As for her, Riri goes to see Joe. There we see that he has been arrested because of the tech that Riri left behind in heirloom job. And now everyone knows who he is. And just a reminder that Joe is actually Ezekiel Stane, Obeida's son. It's interesting that when Ezekiel committed a crime, everyone gets to know about it. But when his father tried to murder Tony Stark, it was covered up and no one knows about it.
He's on vacation. Small aircraft have such a poor safety record.
But another thing to mention here is that Joe's tech, which was at home, were taken, but not the tech in the bunker, where Riri goes to use the equipment in there to destroy the piece of the hood. There was a mention of his name, Ezekiel, which he illegally changed to Joe McGillicuddy for a couple of reasons. One, to not be his father, and another reason might be he wanted others to know the real him and his real name, because Joe McGillicuddy is really not a good name. Ezekiel is now in jail located in south part of Chicago, and after going on about how irresponsible Riri is, he excuses himself, and honestly, we cannot really be mad at him right now. He's right, and this is what Dominic Thorne was talking about in her interview. Riri still doesn't recognize the extent or effect her actions can cause on other people. Back at Riri's house, she's installing cameras, and this is so funny because when Riri is working, Natalie is just dancing around in the background. Is that what she used to do when Riri was working? I love this scene so much. It's such an irritating moment for Riri. And there is a very awkward conversation between Parker and Riri. At this moment, we know, he knows, and she knows that Riri was responsible in John's death. Now that she feels like Parker knows what's going on, she gives the Xavier and her mom wristbands to shield them if necessary. We actually saw this tech in the first episode. Then we see Riri trying to sleep in her suit, which actually reminded me of Iron Man 3 because Tony couldn't sleep too. And just like Tony, both nearly hurt the ones they loved. And she seeks validation from Xavier. And he says,
Good, bad words don't really mean anything. It's all depending on who's labeling you.
They compare Riri to characters in the Star Trek. Then they say goodbye in the Star Trek way, which is just amazing. Afterwards, she asks for some bit of magic from her mom, and that takes them to Mrs. Stanton's shop. We saw Mrs. Stanton in episode 1 where she says,
"Come bring Riri by my shop so she can meet my daughter. They can get into some trouble."
On the way, we see a shop named Stan's Donut, a nod to Stan Lee. Then we see a character who we probably are going to see a lot more of, Zelma Stanton. In the comics, Zelma first sought out Doctor Strange's help when she was infested with the brain maggots. And there is a nod to that here too.
Once they get in your brain, they're kind of hard to get out.
But later, she became Strange's librarian and a key member of the Strange's Academy. That's the magical school that he found in the comics. And according to rumors, Disney is actively developing a Strange Academy series for Disney+. Very exciting. She says that they are in
Western cortex of Nevers.
and this is where the Strange Academy is located in the comics, first appearing in a Strange Academy issue number 1. They examine the cloak and determine that it is from another realm. We understand that Mrs. Stanton was actually a student in Camartage, but she left because she wanted to raise her daughter. Zelma's magic is more like the witches in the MCU. Zelma isn't trained, she self-studied everything herself. Zelma activates her very cool glasses, and on each side we see red, a nod to Scarlet Witch or witchcraft, and green is more natural like Rio in Agatha All Along. After Zelma threw the tea leaves, her mom's reaction is,
Oh, no. Everybody.
and she says,
We say there's no bad tech, just bad people who use tech. Well, there is bad magic. And it is dangerous for everyone, especially good people.
Afterwards, we see her mom pissed off because she never asked for help, especially in an emotional state. Then she flies off to Joe's bunker and uses different ways to destroy the piece of wood. Then we see her having another panic attack, thinking she can't save anyone. Then Natalie tries to help. She takes Xavier to Riri, and when he sees Natalie, he freaks out because he made peace with the fact that she's gone, but Riri hasn't. She feels better, more confident, more complete with Natalie around her. Meanwhile, Ezekiel is getting his bio-implant technology, which is actually what we said would happen in this show. As you know, in the comics, he did the same thing too, only there he hated Tony and wanted to take him out. We see Ezekiel is now shaved in a preparation for the implant surgery, making him more like his dad. The only thing he didn't want to be. As in the next episode, he finds this ironic. Then we see Slug changing the admin and giving it to Parker, letting the Hood control Ezekiel in the next episode. The laser targeting Ezekiel's brain is interesting because we've already seen this in the Hulk movie. And for the people who thought this show was no good, I gotta tell you, this is all about to change in the last 2 episodes. So stay tuned and go watch the next episode's breakdown right now. This is Hey Jet Set, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!